when it comes to systems, like I said, you need to be very considerate of your time, your energy, and the priority level of the things that you have going on in your life. I am specifically talking about whether you have goals, whether you have projects that you're working on, to-do items, like whatever it is that you have to take action and accomplish, there should be a system behind it. I'm not saying that you have to have a system behind doing the dishes every day, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't. So you can literally have a system for everything. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Balanced Business Coach. My name is Toni Robinson, and I am a life coach for leaders. I help individuals and leadership teams create more balance and harmony between their personal and professional life so that they can make a bigger and better impact on the workplaces that they serve. Today's episode is all about systems. I have found that a lot of my clients and my friends and people that I'm close to really struggle with finding something that works for them, a system, a structure, some sort of organization that actually gets them results. And I have found for myself that it needs to be considerate of my energy levels, my time, and priority. So that takes into consideration my own time, priority, and energy levels. It takes into consideration the time of the project, the energy for the project, things like that. And then it also takes into consideration the priority level of the client, the priority level of the compared to other things. So there's a lot of different information that needs to be processed when you're thinking about what is going to get you results and what is going to make you successful. So it's no wonder that people struggle with creating organization and successful systems in their life. It is not an easy task to have to think about all of these things all the time. So, if you have a system in place that allows you to do this quickly, efficiently, and easily, then you might be able to get to the result quicker rather than spending so much time on prioritizing, reorganizing, feeling like, oh, I just have to keep up with my to-do list as much as possible. I just have to knock as much things out as possible. And then you realize, oh shoot, I forgot that one thing that I was supposed to do because it was at the bottom of my list and I had no way to prioritize it. Let me rewrite my list so that I can prioritize it. No. No. No, we're not doing that anymore. Also, side note, I got a new mic. First of all, it's a vibe. This mic is a vibe. And is the audio better? Let me know if the audio is better. Let me know if the audio is better. I might start doing ASMR. You never know. If you're on Apple Podcasts and you're listening to this audio only, you should probably head over to YouTube so you can see what I'm talking about. But with all of that being said, let's get into it. All right, so when it comes to systems, like I said, you need to be very considerate of your time, your energy, and the priority level of the things that you have going on in your life. So I am specifically talking about whether you have goals, whether you have just projects that you're working on, to-do items, like whatever it is that you have to take action and accomplish, there should be a system behind it. I'm not saying that you have to have a system behind doing the dishes every day, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't. So you can literally have a system for everything. But where this is going to be extremely beneficial is if you are juggling multiple things in your life. If you have kids, if you have personal hobbies or businesses that you work on outside of a 9 to 5, and you have a 9 to 5, and you have all kinds of like hats that you wear within your 9 to 5, and all of these different roles that you have to play in your life. And maybe you have a relationship too. And then maybe you also like to be physically fit, and maybe you also like to, eat well. And you also want to have a clean house. Like, these are this is a lot to juggle, right? Like, these are a lot of things to have to think about and remember to do on a regular basis. So, it's extremely helpful to have a system in place that allows you to kind of like take all of that information out of your brain and put it somewhere else that it can live to remind you, prompt you, tell you when it's time to do this. It just takes all of the stress out of it, and you can feel that like space clearing up in your brain, like that just gives you more it just creates more availability in your brain to be creative, to be happy and joyful, rather than so like, oh my God, did I forget to do this? Did I forget to do that? Do I need to blah, blah, blah? Like, chill out. It's all going to happen. It's all going to happen. And to be honest with you, it's going to happen faster than you could even imagine in your mind, because you actually have the specific steps that you need to take and when. And just having that alone will release the anxiety of like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do, which is often what makes us procrastinate and then holds us back. All right, so let's talk about what makes a good system. Number one, you have to have a vision for your system. You have to have a vision for what you want for your life. So if you don't know exactly like what you're striving for at work, if you don't know what you're striving for at home, if you don't know what you're striving for in your health, it's going to be really difficult to know what we're working towards. And this doesn't have to be super specific. Like, I'm not saying set goals here. I'm saying, like, in general, I want to be the type of person who hands things in early, who is always ahead of my to-do list, who is constantly like in awe of how my home serves me and looks and feels when I go home. I am the type of person who is nourishing my relationship on a daily basis. Like, just these kind of general, how do you want to feel about your life? What things are important to you? What do you really want to be focused on? Like, have a vision for yourself. Without that, it's going to be difficult to know where to prioritize things and how much things are really important to you and how much energy, time, and prioritization you should be putting towards those things. So create a vision for yourself first. Write it down, type it out, something, I don't know, put it somewhere. This isn't really like vision board. Vision boards are very specific, right? Like, it's images, it's specific words. This is general, high level, big picture, like just kind of who you want to be. Okay, once you have your big vision, then we're going to start breaking it down into smaller goals. And you might focus on just like 1 quarter or 1 year at a time for now. This is not really the time or place to be doing like 5-year, 10-year vision plans. This is just like, right now, what are the goals that I need to accomplish? This can be a big picture goal, but it's something that can be accomplished within the next quarter or year, whatever you prefer. You could do both, a mix of both if you want to. If you have a goal that you think is going to take you a longer period of time, you can mix and match that with something that you think is going to only take you a quarter. But start listing out your goals. And this should be in every area of your life that you are prioritizing. So if you're prioritizing health, your relationship, and work right now, then you should have goals for all 3 of those areas of your life. Okay, so once you've got your goals, you're going to want to start creating milestones. This is going to be the things that you can do each week, each day to get closer to that goal. So these are going to be the things that start to create your to-do list, okay? So if you already have a to-do list of like projects that you're working on, things you need to do around the house, add the milestones for each goal to that to-do list. Now your to-do list might start getting really big. That is okay. It's okay. When we create a system for ourselves, we want to be aware of the fact that, like, number one, we're not going to get everything done in one day. Everything that we have to do in our life is not going to get done in one day. It's just not. So be okay with that. Also be okay with the fact that while you may have this like back end to-do list that has 50 items on it, you can have a daily to-do list that is only going to have 3 or 4 items on it, and you can easily get through that. So if you feel yourself starting to get overwhelmed by like, oh my gosh, I need to like add all of these to-do items, like this list is getting really long, breathe. Breathe. Okay? Breathe with me and just stay with me. Just stay with me for now. If you absolutely hate this, then like trash it. That's fine. I would say try it out if you are a very like all over the place, disorganized person and you don't have a system for yourself. Like try this out, even if it sounds a little bit overwhelming right now. But I promise if you put the work into like creating this system for yourself, it's going to pay off sevenfold. Like, I don't know where the fucking like sevenfold came from, but that's what came out of my mouth. So we're trusting. I don't have evidence to support that, but I promise it will improve your life significantly. I've been using this system for 3 years now, since 2021, and it's created exponential growth in my life, where I used to just like I would look back on my year and I'd be like, what did I even do? Like, what did I even accomplish? This system has, number one, created a database for me to be able to look back and see exactly what I accomplished all year. But number two, it's also like, because I'm planning everything out, it's like, I'm just getting stuff done. Like, even if I do move something back or I move this to a different day because I didn't get to it today, like, I don't feel guilty about that because I can see everything so clearly and how it can fit in tomorrow or later this week. And then, like, I just get right back on track and everything is good. So, stick with me. Let's keep it pushing. We're breaking down our milestones, okay? So, you've got your goals. You did your vision, you did your goals. Now you're breaking down your milestones and adding them to your to-do list, all right? Once you have added your milestones to your to-do list. So the way I would probably do this is like have each goal listed either like in a document on your computer or on a piece of paper if you want to use, paper like an old person. No offense. But like seriously, why are you not using Notion yet? I don't understand. We'll talk about that later. The point is, you want to list the goal and then list all the milestones underneath it. List the next goal, list all the milestones underneath it, and then you could start adding those all over to your to-do list. Hopefully that makes sense. But you want to kind of like have those combined in the same area so you know that it like goes with this goal. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's just what I would do. You don't necessarily have to do that. Like if you know, okay, here's like all the milestones I need to do for all of these goals, like just add them all to your to-do list. I like to have them kind of like coded, like this to-do item goes with this goal, this to-do item goes with that goal. So you might have some way of like coding how they like tie together if you care, if you want to. I do, but whatever. All right. So the next part of your system is the actual to-do list, okay? So this is where your time, your energy, and your priority level is so crucial. Because let's first talk about time. not only do you need to be considerate of your time, the time that you spend at work, the time that you want to put into other commitments in your life, whether that's your family, working out, going to the gym, if you have a hobby, like what are these other things that are taking up time in your life, and how much time do you really have to commit to all of these things? So the first thing you need to do is be considerate of your time. The second thing you need to consider is your energy. Number one, how much energy is it going to take you? Let's say you are like at your best. How much energy does it take out of you to do this particular task? And just like, again, stay with me right now, listen, take it all in, and then I'll kind of break it down even further here in just a second. But when you're considering energy when it comes to your to-do list, you want to be considerate of like, how much energy do I have to exert to complete a task? So that's one part of energy. The other thing you need to consider is like, am I at a full tank right now? Or am I like, half full? Am I quarter tank full? Like, what is my actual energy level right now? Because if this is like a full tank type of task and it's going to take me down to a quarter tank, I really can't start this task at a quarter tank, because then I'm going to be like way past E on the side of the highway asking for help. Hopefully you're getting the analogy there. But like, you cannot do a task that is going to take more energy than you actually have right now. It's just not good for your productivity and for it's just not going to benefit you in getting closer to the accomplishment of this goal in any way. So be considerate of how much energy you actually have. And then you want to take into consideration of like, if I'm planning 2 tasks in one day, let's say I am at a full tank. My energy is high. I've got this, whatever. You need to consider like the energy levels of the tasks that you have planned in the same day. So if I have something that is a full tank type of task, it's going to take me down to a half a tank or a quarter of a tank to where I only have a quarter tank left in me. I probably don't want to schedule 2 3/4 tank tasks. Hopefully this is making sense. Like, you don't want to have 2 high energy tasks scheduled in the same day. It's more effective for your brain, for your productivity, if you schedule 1 high energy task and 2 lower energy tasks. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the last thing you need to consider when it comes to your to-do list is priority. The first thing is like, if you're doing a project or a task for a client or someone else, what is their priority level? Is this a huge priority for them? Are they kind of flexible? Do you know their turnaround time of when they want this back? Do you know how urgent it is? If you don't, you need to figure that out ASAP. So first you need to consider like the other party's priority level. How important is this to them? How urgent is it to them? The next thing you need to consider is your priority level. And that may sound like, well, if it's a high priority to my client, then it's a high priority to me. Not necessarily. If you have 3 clients and all 3 of them have high priority urgent items, how do you know which one to do first? What is your gauge of like, this is more urgent or this is a higher priority than this? You have to know what your process is for evaluating that. You need to know what your urgency level is, what your priority level is compared to other projects, other items that you have on your list. What is the priority level for this versus that? And then also, not just inside of work, but if you have things that you want to accomplish outside of work in your personal life, how big of a priority is this client's project that might be, making you work overtime, is that truly a higher priority than being at home with your family or going to the gym before you go home at the end of the day? Like, what are you sacrificing? What are you prioritizing this task over? And is that actually what you want to do? Is it worth it? So those are the things you need to consider when you are choosing the order of how you will complete your to-do list, or what you will complete in what order for your to-do list. Okay, so now that we've got all of our to-do items listed, that is the first step of creating a to-do list. I know you think like all you have to do when you make a to-do list is list the items, but babe, I'm telling you, that is just step one. And don't hate me, don't come for me. Don't come for me. I promise you're going to love this. Once you get it all set up, you're going to love it, okay? You're going to love it. So, after you've created your list of to-do items, the next step is to prioritize them. Remember, you need to consider the time it's going to take and your deadline, how much energy it's going to take to complete this, and how much energy you actually have. But for each item, you're going to want to say, what is the due date? How much energy is this going to take me? And what is the priority level? Is it high, medium, low, urgent? What is the priority level? Okay, once you've got all of that listed out, then you can start scheduling. So we've listed all of our items, we've prioritized everything. Now we need to put it on our calendar. So this is where you start to kind of puzzle piece things together of like, all right, I've got 3 high priority items that are due this week. Here is what my energy level looks like on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, whatever. And here's where I can schedule this. Here's where I can schedule that. And then I'm going to add these lower items into this day and this day. Put it all on your calendar. Get it set in stone. If something happens to come up that is more urgent, you want to have a little bit of flexibility in your schedule. You want to leave some open space because you can always fill that with something else. You can always pull from your to-do list and be like, oh, I can do this, smaller priority item here. Oh, I can, answer emails there. But give yourself that room just in case something else comes up so that you can move things around. You also want to be considerate of like, I don't want to be doing this the day before my task is due. Because what if something more urgent does pop up? Then what happens? So make sure you're giving yourself flexibility in the specific days that you're scheduling items, and make sure that you're giving yourself flexibility when it comes to getting things done ahead of time. So we've listed, we've prioritized, we've scheduled it on our calendar. The last step to your to-do list system is to communicate anything that is relevant to other parties. So if you are working on a task for someone else, or that involves someone else, make sure you communicate to them, this is when I'm going to be working on it. This is when you should expect to receive an update from me. If I can't get it done by that time, I'll reach out to you. I'll let you know, but that is the projected day that I should have it back to you, or whatever you want to say. Just make sure that you're communicating your deadlines, your scheduled dates. When you plan on working on your projects that impact other people, make sure you communicate it to them. They will greatly appreciate it. All right. So if you are like, Toni, you are insane. Like, this sounds great. You sound like you've got your stuff together, but like, I have no idea where I would even start for this, or this sounds even more overwhelming than like when I started. What do I always say? Breathe, 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 breathe 3 times. Okay. I understand. It sounds like a lot, but this is why I created a really amazing training for you that, number one, it gives you my template that I use specifically for all of my to-do items, everything that I do for my business, for my personal stuff. Like I use it for literally everything in my life. You will get the template that I use to organize everything. It will literally give you the plug and play template where you can just start adding all of your to-do items. There's a column where you are able to prioritize. There's a column where you're able to put your energy level. There's a column where you need to put in your due date, like your deadline. There's a column for all of the things that I have been talking about today. And then I also walk you through how I use an automated scheduler that puts it on my calendar. Like I don't even have to take my tasks and like transfer them to my calendar. The program that I use, the template that I use actually integrates with my calendar and it just syncs everything up. And everything is amazing. I love it so much. It makes my life extremely easy. It makes my life extremely extremely streamlined. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of these things and you're like, I have no idea how this would even help me. I don't even understand like where I would start with this. It seems like this would be more time consuming than just creating a list and like checking it off every day. Yes, it is going to take you time to set it up. It does take time on the front end to get your system configured, if you will. But once you have it all set up, really all you're doing on like a daily or weekly basis is adding in anything new to the to-do list. So like the vision, the goals, the milestones, like all of that really stays the same unless you're adding like a new big goal. But even if that's the case, like you're only adding it in little bit at a time, everything else is really set and you're like used to the system by that point. So once you get things set up for the first time and you start like using it on a regular basis, it just becomes easy because you're just adding like one to-do item here, one to-do item there. You can easily reprioritize things or reschedule them depending on what else new is coming in. And so while it may sound like a lot on the front end, I really want you to understand why it's so important for you to have this system. And it's because it actually gets you results. You having a to-do list on your counter, on your desk, doesn't really drive the needle forward. It is a reminder, but like if you aren't taking that and doing something with it, or you're not efficiently prioritizing the items that are on it, or you're not like constantly like moving things around, re-looking at, oh, should I be doing this first? Which should I be? It just takes more brain power and you're less productive doing it that way. So try this out. If you're kind of curious, try it out. If you hate it, fine. That's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I love it, and that's really all that matters. But I want to share it with you because it's helped so many people in my life. I have introduced so many people to this system and to my process, and it has just really made an impact on how much they're able to get done and really just how much brain space gets freed up and how much they're able to, feel less stressed around what they have to do. So I have a training linked down below. You can sign up for that, and hopefully this will like change your whole entire life because it definitely changed mine. I know that like sounds weird, but I'm serious. Like this process has truly changed my entire life. So I hope you love it. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Drop a comment if you need clarity, want to know more. Let me know like what your takeaways were from all of this. If you're going to implement this, please, I would just love to hear from you guys. That would make my day. So that is all I've got for you today. I appreciate you so much as always for being here. It means the world to me that you are here and able to share this space with me. It fills me up. It fills up my cup. It's really rewarding to be able to do work that I love, and you being here supports that. And so I just cannot thank you enough. If you found this helpful, please like and share. If you share this with people, it really helps me out and it helps them out. So it's really a win-win. Like, why would you not? And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so that you get notified and are always up to date on when I release new episodes. So, thank you again for being here. I love you so much. And until next time, take care.